So guys, staying here from Rocky Creek, welcome. Hope everybody's doing good, but that's right. Miss Madison here, she's all loaded down with her tools. I got me some tools also. We're gonna need more than what we got in our hand, but this will get us started. But we're gonna try to make us a hay feeder out of leftover materials from the pig shelter build, so we won't have any money invested in this if it goes well. This hay feeder will be used for our coonies. They do eat hay. They don't eat it a whole lot, but they do eat it some throughout the day and kind of over time. So right now I've been using it as bedding, and they kind of been eating on it some as they want to, but I kind of want to see what they would do if they had it independently set up versus just in their bed. So let's try to build this hay feeder and let's see how it works out. Let's go. So guys, I'm hoping with this hay feeder that just between 2 pallets and some of our 2x4s and maybe fence pickets that we had left over from the pig shelter build, we'll have everything we need to be able to do this. Everything down to the screws and everything I have left over. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we'll get through this thing with no money at all and I get to reutilize some of these materials from before. Alright, so you see these right here? Well, the nail heads are breaking off of them, so we got to actually pound them into the wood to where they're flush. You able to, you want to try to do it?
Yeah.
Alright, get down closer. Hard, isn't it? Pick it up higher and hit it. You ain't gonna hurt none. There you go, hit it harder. There you go, there it is, come on. All right, so what I've done to start this out is I've removed the boards on each of my pallets. Now both pallets are identical in how they're laid out. I've gotten the bottom half of the boards taken out, and then I was trying to remove the nails, but the type of nails that they used, when I put too much pressure, it's breaking the nail heads off. So I just opted to hammer the nails in flush, so that way they're not sticking out to cause any harm to the animals. And then we'll show you what we'll do once we get those out the way. Where only having one person can make the job difficult. All right, so you can see that'll give you kind of a general idea of how it's going to go together. We have those pieces scissored through. We just tacked in one screw on the bottom just to hold it for right now, and we'll end up tacking some more into it. But I'm thinking I may need to remove maybe just one of these inner slats to allow the hay to go through a little bit easier, because on the bottom side I kind of got some big gaps. I'm not too concerned, but I'm thinking I may need to remove just one or so of those right there to make it a little easier for the pigs to get to it. So we're gonna get a few more screws into the side, and then we're gonna run some sideboards for stabilizers, and then I'm gonna run a set of 2x4s across the bottom here as sort of like legs for it to give it a little more stability as well. So we'll see how it goes. All right guys, so it's day 2 of the actual hay feeder build, but it's not because it takes a long time to build this thing. I probably actually invested about 20 to 30 minutes into it yesterday, but once we got to this point right here where it's V, now that piece of ply was just sitting on top, and I'll talk about that here later on. But I actually ended up having a friend of mine, my buddy Chris, y'all seen on other videos, him and his boys, they came over to the house and our kids got to playing, and before you know it, it's late in the day, and hey, who cares? We had a great time. There's always time to get the work done. So, but we're gonna finish up things today. So what I'm gonna do now though is I'm gonna use some of our leftover fence pickets from the pig shelter, and we're gonna put some sides on here to help keep the hay in there. We'll put some stabilizers on the bottom, and we're ready to rock and roll. So let's knock it out right now. So guys, that's essentially it. I just ran the one board up there on the top just so the bell doesn't slide out this way. I was originally going to use 2x4s and brace the legs going this direction, but it felt very secure. So all I did to give it just that little bit extra touch was the leftover pieces from the 2 pickets. I just cut them and braced where the piece of scissor. And I mean, it's pretty daggone solid for what I'm gonna need it for, I think. Pigs can be pretty destructive. Coonies are a little more chill, but we'll have to see. Now, I talked about I would mention what we might do with this piece of wood right here. Well, I may end up putting a roof. This piece of wood is like the perfect size for on top of this thing. But I may end up getting me like the white plastic corrugated roofing. It's pretty cheap, and I use it on several of my shelters. I got a few pieces on hand that are left over, but they're not quite big enough for this. So I may pick up a sheet down the road, and I'm thinking about putting hinges and putting on top of there, but we'll see how this works out for right now. Let's get this thing thrown in Mater's pen though, and let's see if he'll do anything with it. Let's see. You just gotta have a little itch first. Got you, brother. Guess if anything, it's an itching post. So guys, I really think this is gonna work. It's gonna work on two things. Number one, it's gonna keep him occupied. You know, he never tries to get out of here, but a lot that I read on talks about animals tend to try to get out when either they're hungry, they want to mate, or they get bored. So I've never had any issue with him getting out, but if anything, it makes him work to try to get his food. So it works out pretty good. But you can see he's trying to figure out how to pull it out. And I think once he gets the hang of it, it'll work out really well. Now the bales I got this year from a guy, one, they're bigger than normal, and two, they are packed super tight. Some of the tightest bales I've ever had. So next time I put the bale in here, I may do a half a bale at a time, and I may break it up a little bit so it's easier for him to pull it out. But clearly, I think it's gonna work. My only concern I have is that I kind of knew pigs can be destructive, but they're a little more destructive than some animals. Him, not near as much of a standard breed of pig, but he's kind of, because he's exploring, he's kind of chewing on some of the wood. And so I'm wondering if he might tear some of it up by chewing the wood, or I'm a little concerned that because we couldn't pull them nails out, I don't want him to pull the wood so much. You tell me thank you? You're welcome, brother. You're welcome. You're my buddy. I'm wondering if, I'm just worried that he may end up getting one of them nails. So I got to monitor that very closely as we go through the days and make sure he's not tearing it up too bad. But I think it's going to work. My man thinks, I think he's happy. He just had to tell me thank you. So guys, just know, if you had to buy these materials, you'd be a little bit into it. But overall, this was all stuff I had on hand here on my property. If I had to buy this stuff brand new right now, I think this would have cost me around $20. The pallets were $4 a piece, so that would have been $8. And then I believe the fence pickets are like $3.98 a piece, so they're like $4 as well. So it's like $16 plus some screws. That's it. Hay feeders this size, selling online. Yeah, they're metal, they'll last forever. And they're selling for like $150, $200. And I got $16 in this. For me, it was free because I already had the items, but I spent the money at some point. So at the end of the day, this would have cost me $16 if I did it from the beginning. And I think it would work great for goats, but as you can see, it's working just fine for my man Mater. So guys, if you need you a cheap hay feeder, you need to do it for yourself. I think this thing will hopefully last me for about 2 years, and if so, $16, well worth it. But guys, hope this helps you out. Stay tuned for in case we end up deciding to put the roof on it, and I'll show you how we do that. But until then, I hope everybody's doing really well. As always, we appreciate you coming along. Y'all be good, and we'll see you here real soon on the next video.